What's up guys, CJ here, and today I want to talk about Gothic a little bit. So I've only opened one box, I haven't gotten a whole lot of cards yet, but I have seen them all on Curiosa. Played a couple of games yesterday and oh my god was it fun. I've seen a lot of different decks popping off. I know we were all worried that aggro was going to win, but every game I've seen so far where people played something other than aggro, they actually did pretty well. Aggro also did really well as well. So we're going to see what the meta shakes out to be in a little bit, but that's not what I'm trying to talk about today. What I'm trying to talk about today are two of the craziest combos I've seen so far. So you guys have probably seen that people have been posting about infinites, and I know we've had infinites in the past. I posted some videos on it back in AL. They're like 5-card janky infinites. Nobody's ever really pulling them off in games, but they're interesting. But now we have a 3-card infinite. Well, technically a 2-card infinite, but you need a 3rd card for it to do anything. It's a card that people probably aren't going to love to see. Well, some people aren't, and other people are going to absolutely love this. If you guys are a fan of Chaos Twister, this is probably all for you. If not, then it's not the greatest for you. But if you guys have seen Chaos Wish, which is a 6 mana, 4 threshold, 2 air, 2 water card, it says cast a copy of a random spell for free, ignoring threshold, then the next player may copy Chaos Wish. And basically the way that this works is you need to have access to the internet for it to work, which is why it might rub some people the wrong way. And probably you're going to need tokens, because if you cast a minion off of this, you're going to have to be able to signify that you have that minion out. But essentially what you need to do is when you cast this card, you go to curiosa.io, you click on the Chaos Wish under cards, and it'll actually say random spell underneath it. I just clicked it a second ago and I got a lava salamander. And for the video, I'll put a little bit of a visual effect of this happening, but you just get a random spell out of the 1100 and some spells that we have in Curiosa now. So kind of niche, weird. You might get a lava salamander after paying 6 mana. That doesn't seem super good. But the 2-card infinite is Kythera Mechanism. So Kythera Mechanism lets you choose the outcome of random spells. So people mostly use this with like Headless Haunt, 13 Treasures of Britain, things like that. But for this, it'll just allow you to cast any spell in the entire game. It's like an Eric's Curiosa that lets you cast a spell for free, but it's 6 mana. So an Eric's Curiosa for 6 mana. It's really interesting, and the reason it's a 2-card infinite is because you can choose Chaos Wish over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because it lets you cast a copy of a random spell, and then it lets you cast a copy of a random spell, and you just keep choosing Chaos Wish. So that's why it's a 2-card infinite, but it doesn't do anything except you get infinite cast triggers. So how does this go infinite? The Ring of Morrigan. That's your 3 cards. Chaos Wish, Kythera Mechanism, Ring of Morrigan. When you choose the Ring of Morrigan, you get infinite pings. So you just Chaos Wish infinite times. You just choose something bad for your opponent. You can choose an Arcane Barrage for 0. You can choose to have them draw through their deck because they're never going to get a turn again. So you can say like Pact of the Devil, just lose all your life. Or you can choose something that is actively terrible for them. It doesn't really matter. But you just choose Chaos Wish infinite times until they're pinged down from the ring, and then you choose Courtesan Theus at the end. Of note, your opponent does not have to cast the spell that you choose for them. It says may cast the copy, or may copy Chaos Wish. So if you say like you're choosing something horrible, then they just won't use it. But the point is, you ping them down to 0 with your ring, then you choose Courtesan Theus, and then you kill them any way you want on their turn with Courtesan Theus. And that's the 3-card infinite combo. I actually think of all the combos we've had so far, this is the most playable one. There is another one that people have been talking about online. I think a couple of people have spoken about it. I think Envy and Magic messaged me about it, that I actually also think is very playable. It's a weird build around, but in practice, I think you could actually pull it off Index. I know he's been very excited about combo, so I'm going to let him spoil it first, and I'll make a video about it later this week. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I think this is actually pretty playable. If you just play it in Death Speaker, if you get a Highland Princess, you get 2 out of the 3 cards you need pretty much immediately. And while this isn't quite as consistent as Nimbusgen, if you're playing Highland Princess, you can grab the ring and the Kythera Mechanism, and then you can just keep going with the Nimbusgen plan by drawing all the cards you can. And then if you happen to get Chaos Wish first, then you win, right? Either way, you're going for a combo kill. So I think it's kind of interesting. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the Realm Eater, aka the Real Meter. So this card is looking pretty binary. It's very powerful. He gets to attack your sites, eat your sites, and leave you without those sites, right? So the Realm Eater, 20 health, 1 power avatar that has tap, play, draw, or digest a site, and he has destroy site that successfully attacks, comma, then becomes immobile until it digests. Now I know some people were a bit confused about this, but essentially the Realm Eater, when he attacks your site, he destroys it. Then he becomes immobilized, and if he wants to become unimmobile, he has to tap, digest the site, filtering into the cemetery or whatever, and then he can move again the next time he is untapping. People are like, oh, this is really weak. What are you going to do about it? But he doesn't have to stop attacking. He just can't move anymore. So this deck feels like it's going to be kind of binary because it's going to be Realm Eater with teleport effects, blink effects, and mounts, right? You're going to have things that can carry your avatar around, and as long as he's not the one moving, he can keep eating your sites. Now, so I think it's going to be like a low to the ground, like 2-3 mana cost cards, and just try to eat your opponent's site, which is why I call it very binary. So either they don't have a chump blocker, in which case you eat all their sites and they're dead, or they do have a chump blocker and Realm Eater doesn't get to do his thing. But what is interesting is he is a turn 2 win or a turn 2 lock to win. And so essentially the worst case scenario, which by the way, before everyone freaks out, it doesn't have a high percent chance of winning. I think I ran the calculator and it's like 0.49% chance to have this in opening hand. So before mulligans, so a little bit better with mulligans. But essentially, if you do turn 1 air site amethyst core, turn 2, you've got 2 mana, you have 2 air threshold, you just teleport onto their site and attack it. So if you're on the play, on your turn 2, their turn 1, you're on their site, you attack and eat their site, and they're back to 0 mana. They play a land, they have 1 mana. Your turn, you can't move, you're immobilized because you haven't digested. You don't have to move. You attack and you eat their site. Okay, they play a land. You attack and eat their site. And essentially, you just eat their site, and they never get more than 1 mana for the rest of the game, and then you kill them on death's door. So it's not a turn 2 win, but it is a turn 2 lock, but it's not likely to happen. But yeah, I think those blessed villages and those sites that allow you to make a chump blocker seem pretty good against Realm Eater. Now, luckily for us, there's like 28 of them. So you can definitely have play against this avatar if you just run some sites that give you something to do on turn 1 to stop him from destroying all of yours. And drawing exactly Amethyst Core or any core plus one of those, the new Mountain Peaks, whichever the double air threshold is, they need to have 2 mana on turn 2 with 2 air threshold. It's not easy to do. I think it's unlikely to happen to you, but it is an important thing to know that the Realm Eater out here can lock you out of the game on their turn 2, your turn 1. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited. I've been having so much fun with Gothic. I think that there's so much you can do with this set. I've been building decks nonstop. I've been playing decks nonstop. It's so interesting, so cool, so fun. I'm going to be playing some Limited later today with my buddies. We'll see if I record it. I'm not entirely sure, but let me know down in the comments down below which cards you guys are excited to play with. Have you opened any new shinies, any unique foils, any curios, and what deck are you most excited to build in Gothic? Anyway, guys, cheers.